Hello, everybody. Welcome to So Happy. How are you all? Believe you all are doing fine by the grace of God. All right. I hope that you would kindly subscribe to the channel, please, if you haven't already. And I'm believing that you would find the videos helpful. Even if this particular video is not helpful to you, it might be helpful to someone else, or maybe something else I share might be of help. So it would be a pleasure for you to, if you subscribed. Thank you very much. Today, I just want to talk about the importance of pre-shrinking fabrics before cutting or sewing. Pre-shrinking washable fabrics and pre-steaming fabrics that can't be washed. Just maybe a few, what should I say, maybe about a year ago, if you had told me to pre-shrink my fabrics before cutting or sewing, I would have said, why would I do that? It would distort the grain, it would remove the finish, the fine finish. You know how it is when you buy fabrics and it's all nicely packed and everything, and it has a sheen to it, and you don't want to wash it, that kind of thing. You just want to sew it, and forgetting that at some point you're going to need to wash it. So one of the important things the important reasons for, or some of the reasons for pre-shrinking the fabrics is because it actually helps to prevent the fabrics or the finished garment, along when it's eventually washed. It prevents it from shrinking or losing its shape. So it is actually important to wash the fabrics or pre-shrink them. And also during the process of washing the fabrics, you get to, know the true nature of the fabric you are dealing with. For instance, these are fabrics that I'm going to be working on my next project, which is going to be a dress. I haven't yet I'm going to start making, I said in my last video I was going to be making bags, but I have decided to leave the bag making for February. So because I have some other projects that are lined up. So these fabrics are going to be part of my next dress. So when I'm about to start a dress or a garment, I wash everything. This black linen has been washed. It's part of the dress. This is African fabric, 6 yards. It's been washed and ironed. And then this is going to be the lining. So all this has been washed. Yes, it is quite, kind of what it takes, a bit of time, but then at the end of the day it's actually better. I'm using this. This is like a calico. I haven't washed this. It's not necessary. I haven't washed it because it's just going to be used as a tulle, just as a I'll practice on this calico, so it's not going to be worn, so I don't need to wash it. But anything else that is going to be worn needs to be washed, or you could use steam, because once moisture is introduced to the fabric, it will shrink naturally. And so, as I said, it gives you a true nature of the fabric you're dealing with. When you wash it, you discover how much dye is in the fabric. You discover how much lint is also in the fabric. You also discover how much shrinkage, how much is it going to shrink, and once you've washed it, it's not, most likely it's not going to shrink again. It would it's lost whatever is going to would be lost, and it would just be what you have left. So when you eventually wear the garment, you don't have to be afraid of it shrinking or anything like that. So it's actually important to pre-shrink the, like for instance this black, when I was washing it, I realized that there was a lot of lint on it, and that would also, impact on the machine as well, because the less lint that gets into your machine, the better. So I've washed away most of the lint. So, and then if there was any dye, excess dye, it comes out of the fabric. Yes, if you've got good quality cotton or fabrics, you don't have to be worried about the finish and whether it's going to look nice. It will look good anyway, because eventually it would have to be washed. And also it would make the garment more comfortable when it's eventually finished, or when you eventually, because if it is not washed before it's sewn, what happens is when the garment is sewn and then you now wash it and then it shrinks, then you find out that you can't get into the garment at all, or it looks kind of misshapen. Because I remember one time I made an outfit, and I traveled with it, and it was a cotton fabric, African fabric, just like this. And by the time, it was a skirt and a top, and I didn't believe in shrinking then, or pre-shrinking then, so I washed it, and then eventually it was almost like, came all the way up to almost my knee. I'm like, what the heck, why is this thing so, it completely shrunk. So, but if I had washed it, then it wouldn't have, I wouldn't have encountered that problem. So how do I wash my fabrics or pre-shrink my fabrics? What I do, because these are 6 yards, I usually, use the African fabrics. So they come in a 6-yard bolt or pack. So I usually divide the fabrics into smaller pieces, because it makes it easier for me to wash. So I divide them into 2-yard pieces, and that's for me. You could do it anyhow you want, but that's what I do. I divide it into 2-yard pieces, segments, and then whatever else I have, I just divide it according to what I feel will be appropriate, just to make it smaller enough to wash. Yeah, and then I don't add any soap. I just dip it in the water. Once it hits the water, it will shrink to whatever level or degree that is going to shrink, and then that's it. So I just put it in the water, lukewarm water, and then just kind of give it a bit of a hand wash or whatever it is, and then that's it. And then put them out to dry, iron them, and it doesn't really distort the grain, it doesn't really affect it. It makes the garments that I've made so far with this kind of process, it makes them more comfortable, and I don't have to worry about whether it's gonna shrink or anything like that. So yeah, so as I said, washing them helps to get rid of excess lint, excess dye. It pre-shrinks it, so you don't have to be afraid. If you have a garment or fabric that is not or can't be washed, use steam, and once moisture hits it, it will shrink to whatever degree is meant to shrink to, and then you could go ahead and use it. So basically, that's just what I want to talk about, the importance of pre-shrinking fabrics, because I was a no about shrinking fabrics, but I've realized that it's really, really important. So is there anything else I want to say? So yeah, so that's basically it. And as I said, that even it makes the garments last longer, because if you don't pre-shrink it and then you wear it and then you wash it, it's going to be, it will feel tighter, and then it would kind of cause strain on the seams, and so it wouldn't be comfortable, and that would also kind of shorten the life of the garment. So yeah, so it's a win-win all around, I think. And if you wash it and it fades or something, then it means it's not good quality. Next time you wouldn't buy that kind of fabric again. But at some point you're going to need to wash it. So the earlier you get to know the fabric you're dealing with, the better. Okay, so let's see. That is it for now. Kindly subscribe. if you find the videos helpful, and I would be back next time to share something else. I just want to make sure that, let me go through my notes to make sure. Okay, all right, so I think that's about it. So sorry that I've turned away from you for a minute, but I just want to make sure that I've got everything. So once again, have a lovely evening or lovely day wherever you are, and please continue to visit So Happy. Lots of love. Happy sewing. Bye for now.